All right, welcome to another episode of Cricket Vana. This is Vana and Kashyap. I have Somo and Vinay here. And thank you, Sridhar, for setting this up. We are in the middle of 2022 T20 World Cup, and we are here to, just mainly discuss the ongoings of the tournament, but we cannot move forward without spending a chunk of time on the match of the World Cup, or maybe the match of all the World Cups, one of the greatest T20 games, if you can call that. India versus Pakistan just 3 days ago in Melbourne, in front of more than 90,000 audience. The biggest cauldron you can see, the G.
I would say out of 90,000, 80,000 are Indians, I guess. So.
Pakistanis so tumba idru. I think, it felt like that. I mean, you can never get the exact number,
I know.
How many blues and greens, but what a match, what a match. We'll talk a lot about it, but one word, if you have to give one word for this game or the experience, as they call it, what would you say, Vinay?
Oh man, one word.
So if it has to be one word, I mean, I don't want to put you in a fix, but I mean, Vinay, one word or a line is something like, what would be the first field? Oh, Sridhar is saying ViraaTaroopam. Absolutely, yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah.
And I saw a meme that said, Kantara and this game together, and said the last 20 minutes, God was there. So
I'm gonna say it's a pretty common word. Unbelievable, one thing.
Yeah.
And what it takes a genius to win a match single-handedly for his team.
Yeah.
Okay. After all the setbacks that he had in the past year or two. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That shows the
context.
Context.
The context of the game, the context of his career, the way it panned out for the last couple of years.
And also, there were 135 crores people depending on the weight of his shoulder that day.
Exactly.
And it's not easy. Getting 80 is not the best thing. But what he had to go through to get that, he showed his class, showed his temperament, showed his mental strength more than anything else.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We all knew that he had the ability to score runs. Yeah. And under the circumstances, in a ground like Melbourne, which is not the easiest place to play,
exactly.
With almost 100,000 people,
you need to play the angle so much. I mean, it's not just hit through the line. It's not a Dubai or Bangalore, where you just blindly hit wherever you want.
And Kashyap, not only that, the hitting is one thing. The way he tackled the bowling, especially in the last 20, 30 balls. Yeah. And you know what? There was absolutely no doubt in his mind he's going to make it.
Yeah.
At no point in time, I believe.
I'm sure majority of the fans might have given up at the halfway stage when we were 45 for 4 after 10 overs.
Correct.
So 115 in last 10. Yes, it's not impossible, but you would have especially with Kohli, with all the talks about the strike rate and the acceleration and whatever, and you could see Hardik Pandya was not really middling every time.
Yeah, middling everything. And you know what? What says it all at the end of the day? Dravid's supposed to be a very cool, calm.
He was animated. Yeah.
Okay. He was animated. That means they did not even believe at some point in time in the game they're going to make it.
Yeah.
And when he could do that, it shows. See, it says a lot about a character of a player.
Yeah.
Exactly. We all knew that he's one of the best batsmen in the world. We all knew that. But he came out and played that game that day. The way he played, not only he got runs, the way he played, and he took the team single-handedly almost, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yes, on the from the scorecard and, of course, the overall impact, absolutely, Virat Kohli is the front runner, it's his game. But I must say, I mean, and again, I'm not the only one. Even Kohli mentioned that I think there was a lot of credit to be given to Hardik Pandya, the way
Huge.
He knew that he's not really at his best that day. So he let Kohli take the lead, and he was the one who was actually, pepping him up. And I think his, it's been his year too. Hardik Pandya, with IPL captaincy and everything, I think he's become a thought leader in the team now.
Yeah, but you know what? And mind you, everybody expected Surya to bat through that day with his current form. He would have been the perfect foil. As in the latter part of the game, next game, 50, 50, 60, whatever that was, right?
Yeah.
So when you lose Surya, you know what? There's a lot of doubt creeping into everybody, including the fans, the team, and anybody who was watching the game. And Pakistan was on the top of their game at that time. And guess what? He took it away from them.
But amazing. We have to give credit to their bowling. Seriously.
Oh my goodness! Yes.
Everybody bowled well. But I think that 13th over where Hardik hit 2 sixes and Virat Kohli 1 6 against Nawaz,
that changed the complexion of the game.
Changed the bowling plan very much. And they knew about it. It was not a fluke. It was not, just chance that, it just happened.
No.
It was not a Sehwag-esque hitting of see the ball, hit the ball. They planned which bowler, what time, and it was.
And didn't they go Guru? They waited till 13th, 14th over to crack it open because they didn't want. If they lost wicket, then they would have definitely lost the game.
So even then, with Naseem and Matte, when they came back, and even Harris Raff's third over, 14 and 15 didn't go for much again.
Correct. That's what I mean. When they opened, that gave them the confidence to move forward. Yeah. Then after 15, 16, what happened was that gave them the confidence. There's a reason, he's called the chase master. He knows exactly, when to accelerate.
Especially when it's chasing, which bowlers are left and, in what angle, what side of the, what end of the ground. So to me, if I have to put one word, I've been thinking about it, and I think all this week I could not go past the word destiny. For me, I think it was meant to happen. It might sound too philosophical, but this, you could see so many decisions, so many moves. You could see that there were so many things that went right for India and so many things that went against Pakistan. If any one of them had been the other way, I think you could have seen a different result.
Kashyap, I will completely agree with your word destiny. If you just watch the 20th over, it says everything.
Yeah. You had pretty much everything.
The 20th over is the one which that is destiny.
Exactly. 9 deliveries. 9 deliveries. 6 became 9. You needed 16 runs. You actually needed 28 from 8 balls. And I have to mention, I think I have not seen a better shot than Kohli when Kohli played 18.5. 18.5. I think, there is a big following in Twitter now. 18.5 is like a hashtag. People want to tattoo 18.5 on their hands now. It's
And I'm going to ask you
18.5, you will know what it is.
You know what? Is there anything in the YouTube world that you can put in the last over, the entire last over? Can anybody give it to us?
I think so. There should be, but I don't know if we can play here though. But I can send you the link. Yeah,
I want
you can go back to our own, ESPN or Willow and play the whole thing.
Yeah, I know, but that I just want to concentrate on just that one because I want from 18.5, 6 or 19th or Shuru or till the end of the game. I want to see that. The reason being, there were so many things from a standpoint of an umpiring decision, from a standpoint of
exactly
16 runs, from a standpoint of the pressure that they went through to get those 16 runs.
Oh yeah.
And in mind you, it's Pakistan. It's not anybody else.
Yeah, exactly. It's Pakistan in a World Cup, especially after the humiliating loss in the previous edition. I think it was one of the greatest comebacks in cricketing, folklore, if you want to talk about it.
Probably.
So as me, personally, being an umpire, I think that last over was an umpire's delight.
Correct.
You will see pretty much everything. Luckily not. I wouldn't say controversy, but yeah, I mean, you can question a few things, but I don't think there was any, so-called controversial call.
I don't think
anything, but
I don't think it was controversial
I can
anyway.
some of them if
if you're a Pakistani fan, you think that no ball was a controversy. It was not.
It wasn't. So I'll tell you why. I know even some of the Pakistani experts, I saw some snippet that they also mentioned that, yeah, I mean, it's marginal, but they could have gone to the umpire because why don't you use the technology or whatever? But the law says you go to the third umpire for a no ball. I mean, especially waist high, because now, the front foot no ball is already automatically taken care of by the third umpire now. So they will always check every ball, and they will, you already see the hooter coming up, and they bring back. But for a waist high no ball, they go to the third umpire only if a wicket falls. And that too, wicket falls. The wicket credit goes to the bowler. I mean, if it's a waist high full toss, you hit somewhere and get run out. No asking the third umpire.
No question. No, we move on.
It's only when you get caught, obviously. I mean, you won't get bowled or LB with that ball. So that's when they go to the third umpire. So people question why the delay in calling the no ball. That's because the square leg umpire was turning back and watching if the ball will be caught or not. Because you could see, I think it was Iftikhar, the fielder. He reached the ball and then it popped in outside.
I don't think it even touched his hand, Kana. It was clear.
He jumped up. Yeah, he touched it. Then he pulled it down, but I mean, it fell. It fell behind. Okay. Behind the ropes. So he was just waiting for that. If he had caught it, then they would have gone for the third umpire. But because it was a 6, there was no question of calling for the third umpire. I still think, looking at the replay, I think it was a good call, because
no, there was no question, Kana. As soon as he hit, I knew this was no ball, because see,
waist high no ball, and even the head high wide you call, it's when the batsman is standing upright at the crease. It doesn't matter how forward he is.
Correct. Mind you, if any other Australian cricketer was batting, it was not a no ball. It was Kohli. It was
exactly. Yeah.
There is no question. I mean, so you can just probably an inch over the waist. Actually, not even much. It was a close call though, but that was a great call.
Yeah. So you can see, so you needed 16. So last 2 balls went for 6. Even the last ball 6 was amazing. The 18.6. To play that angle, use the pace and flick it in Melbourne is,
my God.
But again, 18.5 is something out of the world.
Look, honestly, if is he going to repeat the same innings with even a mediocre bowling, or maybe even a mediocre setting? It may not be a winning game, it may not be a pressure game. You can't do that.
No, exactly.
He was in a zone by himself.
But I must say, I saw another great shot from Kohli yesterday against Netherlands over extra cover for a 6.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
That was really, really good. Again, the context is different. It's Netherlands. It's
it's what happens. I'll tell you what happens. I want whoever is viewing this has to understand. Anything compared to that innings will be nothing.
Exactly. No, because we always talked about his 82 against Australia in the 2016 World Cup in Mohali as not just his best, but one of the best T20 batting. And it was in the voting, when they were trying to say which is the best World Cup innings or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was also pretty much the same. But again, it was not. They were not that behind like yesterday, like against Pakistan.
Yeah.
But you still had Dhoni was not out. Raina played a little bit, so it was not as bad a situation as it was, but it was still a great innings, mind you.
Great innings, pressure under pressure,
and it's a virtual knockout though, because the winner would go to the semi-final.
Good game. If he had gotten out, Dhoni would have come, probably hit a few. They would have won game. But I mean, I don't think this one. What they won because of it.
Yeah. When KL, Rohit, and Sky failed, and then when Hardik is struggling, this man who's been supposed to be struggling for last 2.5 years,
comes out and plays a knock like that.
Would redeem himself and the team and the entire country with such an innings in the last.
So let's zoom in on these sixes, right? Because I know we're talking all over the place. So let's zoom in on let's talk about 18.5 for 1 second, also for the viewers, right?
Yep.
I think it's very easy for a viewer to see that six and think that the changing of the complexion of the game, going from 28 runs to 22 runs, is why it's such a great six. But what I want to add here, and I want you guys to add in as well, I want the viewer to understand two things. One, the fact that the presence of mind from a strategic perspective to attack Ralph, of all bowlers, at that point in time. And secondly, and maybe my dad can speak about this, the technicality of that shot, right? Because it is, I'll tell you what I think. The one to attack a bowler with that much pace is unbelievable, because in order to kind of give yourself the room and react in that kind of time to somebody bowling 145, 150 clicks, is to get in that position already is a huge accomplishment. Second, that was an uppish ball. It was around chest height almost.
Oh God, yeah.
You cannot free your arms enough to give yourself the leverage to get that kind of distance on a ball, right? Because if it's lower, or if it's a half volley, or if it's wide or something, you free your arms and you get the leverage to be able to get the power and the swing through the ball. Here, your arms are cramped such that you cannot even get that leverage. And then the third thing that I would say is he hit it to the long boundary. He's standing on this side of the crease and he's hitting to long on, and he's getting under the ball and getting that distance on the ball. So I want the viewer to understand the kind of timing it takes to meet the ball, because 99 times out of 100, that shot that he plays will always get caught at mid-off or mid-on. It will always get caught at mid-off or mid-on. But he cleared the boundary and I want the viewer to understand.
And that too in Melbourne.
And then Melbourne, that was what I said.
Largest ground, largest boundary. So let's just focus on 18.5. You guys tell me more about the decision to attack Ralph. Tell me more about the shot itself. Let's just dissect the shot a little bit.
And Ralph has been, he was bowling amazingly well, and not surprisingly, because he owns Melbourne. Like even in BBL and even when Pakistan has toured, he's been, I think, probably better than any Australian bowler in Melbourne for the last couple of years. And until that six, he was at, I think, 3.4, 24 for 2 or something, right? 30. So he ended up with 36. So, 24 from 22 balls, with 2 wickets in that ground. And then, that six does not disrespect Ralph at all.
No.
It's all about Kohli. And again, it's not just instinct. It's not just that moment that, he just happened to be doing that. It took a lot of years of practice and fitness and commitment that Kohli has. So that's why I think Somo and I, we touched upon it last week's conversation. In Australia, the fluke batsman will not survive.
Will never score.
So that's why you will see, the Warners and the Kohlis and maybe, even Kanes, and maybe Root would have done well too.
And you know what? If you saw Stoinis' game yesterday, it was unbelievable. Okay, I don't want to drift away.
So let's come back to 18.5. Go ahead, Somo.
Let me tell you what I feel. Okay, obviously, mindset was there for him. He was not going to lose the game at that point in time. Okay, either he's going to win the game. He's going to win the game. In his mind, he was going to win the game. Okay, it's just a matter of when he, So having said that, there are 3 or 4 things I can attest to that fact. One, though, supreme fitness. Supreme fitness. Okay, there's no ambiguity there. And I saw a clip from somebody today, which he sent me an email. He turned a vegetarian. He said, I don't eat any meat anymore. And people were doubting me. They're going to lose everything. You know what? No, I'm perfectly fine. I didn't know that. Not that the eating meat makes you any better. I'm not, I don't know that. I never eaten, but it's not the point. Having said that, supreme fitness, that's one thing. And he was playing so well, there's a supreme confidence. Okay, Aditya. Then the other thing is, he was seeing the ball like a football. It's a big ball on game. It was not He couldn't have missed that.
Yeah.
See, technically, these are all the things you can do. You can mentally condition yourself to be concentrated. You can physically condition yourself to play supreme fitness. Okay. And having played 40, 50, 60 balls, he has seen the ball well. These are all the things.
Yeah.
But what it is somebody's technique is so supreme. And if you go back and look at it, both of you, I want you to go back and look at it. It was not a slog. It was a jab, actually. It was a jab. It was a jab.
I have a question for both of you, actually. I mean, you can do it. You can answer it after your explanation.
Yeah.
If you have to give a new name to that shot, what will it be? You can talk later.
Yeah, okay. So what I think, again, I could be wrong when I say this after I'll tell you, but I could be wrong because I have to watch it a couple more times. But I'll tell you. What happened was, it's a short arm jab, literally, because there was no time for him to swing the bat, come back and finish it. When you go back and look at it, there was no follow through on the bat. Look at that. There was no follow through on the bat. What happened was, he was timing it so well, the contact between the ball and the bat, I wouldn't say luck, I wouldn't consider
sweetest spot possible.
The height of the ball, which came in, the pace of the ball, most ideal, and for Kohli's side. Okay, if it was Stoinis, maybe that was a different ball.
Yeah.
So again, destiny is the word again. Back
exactly.
again.
Yeah.
And he jabbed it, and nonchalant jab though.
Yeah.
But see, if he had not scored that runs at that time, we would not have won no matter what.
No, that ball. But it also, for me, even though after that 6, you still needed 22 of 7.
Correct. That's what I mean. So
I don't know. I really felt from that 6 that this is our game.
This is it. See, that was a shot at jab though, and I tell you, this is more science, Guru though.
Yeah.
When he hit the ball and he connected the ball to the bat at the sweetest spot on the ball of the bat rather, and it sailed through beautifully. I want to see, as I said, I want to see more of it a few more times to understand. One the other consider from behind the wicket, you could see it really well. Though.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
That was probably the best.
There's one from behind the wicket. There's one actually from long off or cover.
Long off. But you don't see that long off dura though. Pretty close.
Fine leg in almost.
Yeah, that's when I decided. Third man in the country. Third man.
Sorry.
Yeah. So a short arm jab though that hit, it was perfectly timed. It's all timed.
It's the sweetest spot possible. In any cricketing.
You couldn't have picked up. But if you go back and pick the front of it and see the mark on the ball, it's right in the sweet spot, right in the middle of the bat.
Oh man! And you could see from the reactions of Kohli and Hardik. Hardik immediately just bowed. He just bowed down. Well, Haris Rauf also kind of bowed down in a different emotion. It was a different emotion, I understand, but I mean, wow. I mean, it was a contest of the highest quality.
You know what? When I say the short-arm jab, Andre, I don't think it's pretty accurate in my opinion.
I know.
That's the only thing close to it in my opinion, because he did not slog it.
Yeah.
He did not lift it. He did not sweep it. It was just like this.
Exactly. So
that's what happened.
Nan, I was thinking in terms of some punch.
Yeah,
it's not really a back foot punch or front foot punch, but I actually liked what Kumble said. I think it's probably the most suitable name for that is, he said, forearm loft.
Okay. There's a forehand actually.
Forehand loft. It's like a
tennis,
but it's a loft.
And mind you, I was going to add one more to that, because you see Virat Kohli's cover drives, okay? It is not a typical cover drive like a Dravid cover drive or a Sachin's cover drive. It's a lot of bottom hand in it. Yeah. Okay, that came in handy. That came in handy for this stroke. See, you might say, "Oh my God!" I always think his cover drives are not most pleasing for my eye. Not to put it down or anything like that. But I would rather see a Rahul Dravid or a Sachin Tendulkar or a Ponting cover drive.
Even Babar Azam at this time, yeah.
From a technical standpoint of it. But he hits it down. He's on the ground. Obviously, he has a technique going with it. That is the one that gave him that 6. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't think anybody else would have gotten that shot off the bat other than Kohli that day.
I mean, I don't think even Kohli will get it more than 5 times out of 10 if he even tries that every time.
You know what? Let me put it that. Only one time.
Maybe. So, because I just want to digress a little bit. I know because you mentioned Kohli and the diet. Yes, he's turned plant-based or vegetarian for last 7 years or so.
Yeah.
If anybody is interested, actually, he features in this movie called Game Changers. It talks a lot about the protein and the meat and the myth and all those teams. Some of the big names that are actually into this now are Virat Kohli, James Cameron, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Novak Djokovic, Lewis Hamilton, Chris Paul, and Jackie Chan. And then I think there was another. There is an NFL team that does. It's part of the case study in that movie.
I don't know how old was that clip from Virat. If people see that, I'll tell you, majority of sports will change into whatever he's doing.
Possibly, yeah. I think he did it consciously a few years ago, and he's been talking about it.
Look, I have to admit, I'm not the biggest fan of Kohli, okay? But this changed my mind completely.
I know.
Not I'm going to become a fan or not, but obviously I respected his cricketing abilities. There is no question about it.
I know. Yeah.
But this changed completely for me what he can do on the field. I mean, the guy is unbelievably great at it.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm one of those rare cricket romantics who never gave up on Kohli. But, I'm very happy. But I know. I mean, it's understandable the frustration of the last couple of years, and so I will not say I told you so or whatever. It's not my stand. But I mean, I think I really liked. I'm glad Vinay brought this up because we wouldn't have had dissected this so much. Oh yeah, 18.5, man.
18.5.
Tattooing 18.5.
Yeah, 18.5. We wouldn't have probably dissected it. I tell you, that was one of. Oh my God! I tell you that. I mean, I would go back and look at it. As I said, 18.4 Admele. If you can send me a clip, I'll tell you that will be on my loop.
Oh yeah. I think I've already watched more than 25 times in the last 8 balls. Yes. Okay. So moving on to the next over, so Mohammad Nawaz, who was deliberately kept back because of that assault in the 13th over, and also they wanted to see if they can kill the game, because all they needed was 1 wicket. They needed Hardik, but more importantly, Kohli at that time. But I mean, again, yes, Hardik was not middling it, but I mean, all he needed was 3 big hits, and he could have still done it in the last over. Unfortunately, whatever.
But you know what? I question that personally. I question that. I'm not saying it's wrong or right or whatever because it's only an opinion. I wouldn't have bowled him in the last over with Virat and Hardik. Both are well set. I wouldn't have done that.
No, that was because I'll tell you why. Because they along with 3 sixes, I think they got 19 or 20 runs in his 3rd over. So what they wanted to do was get as much cushion as. See, I mean, again, going back to 18.5, if those 2 sixes were not hit, Nawaz would have been defending 20 plus in his last.
Correct.
Over.
Yeah.
Right. So that was the plan. So the plan worked until the last 8 balls.
But between a 24 and a 16, there's a lot of difference. Not 8 overs. There's 8 runs. It's a lot more difference than 8 overs. 8 runs rather. So exactly. It is probably a lot easier for a batsman of that caliber, that well set, that long of an innings in a T20 to get the 16 versus a Rauf or whoever, or a Freedy or whatever.
Agreed. Only because. See, I mean, nobody would think that you would get a 100-run partnership going into the 20th over after being 31 for 4, right? So that's why he brought his best 3 bowlers, right? Naseem, Rauf, and Afridi of all the people.
Yeah, Afridi, yeah.
So he tried to finish their spell. I mean, hoping 1 wicket, just 1 miss hit, one inside edge or whatever to get 1 wicket. So Nawaz has that extra cushion. Right?
Correct,
And
Appa.
also because everybody knows DK has he's more comfortable against pace. So if there was 1 wicket fallen, then DK would be facing Nawaz, and you saw he wasn't really that comfortable against a spinner. I mean, not that Nawaz is a bad spinner, but I mean, so I think the plan was okay. It's just that there was Kohli in the middle.
Look, see, that is the game changer.
It is.
Kashyapa.
Absolutely.
See, when there is Kohli, it doesn't matter who bowls, but definitely not a spinner.
Yeah.
Because the problem is you cannot have everybody on the fence. Okay, you have to have few up front. That means even a miss it will go 2 runs.
Exactly. And we saw that, right? So
we saw that. So a miss it will carry 2, or if it slices the field, it could be a good 3. So you don't have to settle for 1 in Melbourne.
Yeah.
It has to be, could be a 2 or a 3 or a 4 or a 6, whatever.
I totally agree. I mean, I'm only trying to be an advocate for as a Babar or whoever it was. But me personally, even after that onslaught on Nawaz, I would have finished his spell right there.
Correct. That's what I mean.
Right?
That's what I mean.
Maybe the 15th over, because even if they had gone the same 16 runs in his 4th over, you would have still had that cushion for the
you would have had Rauf, you would have had Shaheen, Rauf, whoever. But see, 18, 19, 20 are very critical overs no matter what you like. Unless you have a bowler of the caliber of Warning, I don't think he would bowl.
Now, again, another point is I think Nawaz has done well in the death for some games. But again, one thing I saw, as soon as Nawaz, asked the keeper to go back, and he's not falling back to his own strength, which is the spin. He's not really bowling spin. So that was already a half loss for Pakistan. It's just a strategy, right? I mean, if I am being forced to do something I'm not comfortable with or I've not done it before, then you're already if I bowl my strength, which is my spin.
Not only you bowl Nawaz, you eliminated a stumping chance. The people can get out of the crease willy-nilly and still be able to come back to the
exactly.
I think you nullified the biggest, or maybe a caught behind, which is a slight snake. You're not. So you eliminated 2 outs, no matter how you look at it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think pushing the spinner to not really bowl spin was already a win. Because they have lost confidence that I cannot win this game with my strength anymore, and I have to do something different.
Correct. But Nawaz should have said, "Hey, look, I don't care. You know what? Bring the wicketkeeper in, man."
Exactly.
You know what are they? See, nobody cares.
Yeah. Exactly.
See, now we are eliminating completely even a snake, which could be very powerful. It will never carry to the level that it was going to go. It's going to be okay. That's gone. So now we have eliminated 2 outs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Spinners, that's the main thing. Okay. Then runouts, see, even if it's a little outside the bitre, Hardik Pandya would have crossed the line.
Exactly. Especially for his pace, you can actually run a by.
That's what I mean. You can run a by.
So behind. So I mean, they already they were gone. I think with those 2 sixes, it scrambled their brains already.
But somebody who is half the brain, why would you do that? Is my question.
Exactly. Yeah.
No,
destiny. It had to happen.
Destiny.
Everything has to fall in place.
And also,
Vinay, you had something?
Yeah, no, I think this is a good dovetail into what you guys are high level. What you're discussing is before the over even started, half the game was lost at that point.
Totally lost.
I think a step further, which we're going to get into it now because we're going to talk about each ball, is it still does not defend Nawaz for his terrible bowling, even if he's bowling outside of his comfort zone.
Yes.
It does not give him the excuse to have two wides and to
two
have a
wides
no
and
ball.
a no ball, and exactly.
So
Okay, so let's get to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
So first ball, Hardik, just tried to slog the shit out of it, and he top edged and got out, which was, a fair play. He had to go for it, 16 or from 6. I mean, there was no point in nudging here and there, and it's not like he was a tail ender wanting to get Kohli on strike, right? I mean, if Kohli was on strike, great, but he knew he was not really middling, but he still, just
he had to. I think he had to go for it because he wasn't middling, and it's like, if I get out, I get out, but at least if I hit something, I hit.
Exactly.
Secondly, his strength is against spin, so he should, of all people, go for it. And third, with only 6 balls or after that ball, even if he gets out with 5 balls remaining, you still have DK coming in, so that's a perfectly good shot. I don't care that he got out.
Yeah, and then with the new rule that came into effect from October 1st, even if you cross, Kohli couldn't take the strike. So it was the new guy, DK. And because it was DK, we were all still confident.
Yeah.
He took a single, and that's the only ball he actually touched the bat. But then a small portion of credit should go to DK as well for running like he was crazy.
He dove. Both runs he took, he dove.
Yeah, the 2 runs was his, the 3 runs was his.
Yes.
He took 1 single, and so like he scored 1 single, and he got out in the second ball. But in between, he ran 6 most important. It
actually worked in our favor. If you look at the replays, both that he dove, he was comfortably in. Yeah. But it takes fresh legs to be able to do that. If Hardik was in, I don't think he would have made those runs. So getting fresh legs in to make those runs, he's already very quick, and his feet, he is very nimble because he's a wicket keeper, right? Because he's really good at crouching and nimbling. Then he's making those dives in the nick of time. I think it took fresh legs to do that. I don't think Hardik would have made it back into the crease and made those same runs.
Hardik will probably not do it even if he has fresh legs at the at his beginning of his innings.
Correct.
Now, because of his back, I don't think he's willing to dive anymore.
No.
So anyway,
it was a blessing in disguise.
Absolutely. So then so the first next ball, DK tried to hit it. It went for a single, and then Kohli again, he tried to hit it. He couldn't middle it, but luckily it went past the bowler. And again, credit to DK, they got 2 runs. So now comes, after 3 balls, you now have 3 runs. So you still 13 from
13 runs.
13 from 3, and that's when things start to happen, right? That was the waist high no ball that, again, Kohli was sharp enough and quick enough to actually convert that to a 6. I mean, it could have been a no ball and just a single. Who knows, right? I mean, to hit that and immediately call for a no ball. I don't think he swayed the umpire's decision.
No.
Because he was already looking back, following the ball, waiting for the catch to be taken or dropped, and then make that decision to go for the third umpire or not. We already talked about it. So it was a no ball. Babar came running, everybody came running, and he explained, he even said, I was looking for the catch. Because if you drop, I'm giving a no ball. They went back. So now it's a free hit. And he bowls
before you move on, quick question. I know my memory kind of plays games on me, so I want to ask if you guys remember. Sure. When that no ball happened, I don't know if it was the same over or the over before. It might have even been 4 or 5 overs before, but there was a questionable full toss that people did question. Would that have been a no ball? And they did not give a no ball for that. Do you remember that ball? Which full toss it was? Who the bowler was?
Not that over. If it's before, I don't.
I think it was before. So the question I had is, let's say hypothetically that ball existed. I want to know which when it was, who the bowler was. How much would that play into the umpire as well in terms of there was a questionable one before? I didn't.
Oh yeah, that's the second part. DK single was also DK single was a full toss. Yeah,
exactly. So what I want to bring up here before
actually Kohli questioned that too.
He questioned that one, correct? Yes. So what I want to bring up here, and I want to get your guys' take is, see, I'm a big basketball fan. I follow the NBA, right? And what you see in the NBA a lot of times happen is referees, when they call it like a bang bang play. What a bang bang play is when something happens so quickly. And the call can go either way, right? It can go for the offensive team. It can go for the defensive team. At some point, the referee, because time is of the essence, they just have to make a call. And sometimes it can be an unpopular call, and not all calls everyone's going to agree with. So what ends up happening, whether we like it or not, if there's another call, another bang bang play in quick succession or at some point, a lot of times to even the playing field, they will award that indirectly for the other team. No one talks about this. It's not it's kind of unofficial, unspoken about thing.
Okay.
And in my mind, what came to my mind as I'm a basketball fan is, there was a full toss. It was questioned. It was not given a no ball. How much of that played into giving the next one a no ball? I'm not saying it was or wasn't at all. I agree it was a no ball. His foot was behind the crease. I agree the one that was given a no ball was a no ball. But I want to pose to you guys, how much do you think, and from an umpiring perspective, how much do you think, hey, I didn't give the last one. You know what? I gotta think about giving this one because it's an even 50-50. Okay.
It's an excellent question. And, especially with your example of the basketball, I think now I can understand really well that, it is a completely valid question from, what you are asking. And yes, it, from the human balancing perspective, yes, you might try to think that way that, hey, I didn't do it last time, so let me, overcompensate or compensate or whatever you want to call it. But I don't think, again, as we all agree, the second one was not really a compensatory no ball.
Correct.
But I personally don't try to compensate, even if I realize that I made a mistake in the previous ball or previous whatever in the same innings, only because two mistakes won't even out. I think, you just have to minimize the mistakes. Yes, you made a mistake, but I don't want to do one more on the other side of the needle just to compensate. Like when it, because I can take an example of calling wide, right? There is a thin line, literally a line, to differentiate, a wide or, a valid ball, right? Sometimes it's your perspective and, it could be couple of inches this way or that way, and you still either call it a wide or not. So what I do generally is, yes, it's easy to say, okay, last time I called a wide even though it was in, so next time when it goes wide, I won't. But I generally don't do that. I ignore that mistake and just continue with making it right. Yes, I might still make another mistake, but not because I made one already.
Okay.
Yeah, and before you move on, would you have called that DK full toss for no ball?
No, I don't think so. It was a full toss, but I think it was I felt it was dipping. So as soon as I saw Kohli calling for it, I said, hey, it's not a no ball. I know instinctively I said that.
Okay.
But it's a good thing to actually, I may have to go back because I never saw that ball that in with that importance.
Okay. I have a different take on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Forget about DK's. Okay. Obviously, it has every repercussion of a DK's ball for him to whatever the decision was.
Right.
Assuming what Vinay said about basketball, okay, in a way it applies, but in a way it doesn't, because two different scenarios. Okay. Assuming DK's was still a no ball and he didn't give. Let's assume for a minute. It's all assumption. And then let's assume for a minute Kohli's was not a no ball. Okay. The one that supposed to be no ball, he didn't give, right? Supposed to be no ball. DK.
Kohli or DK?
He did not give, right? The other one he gave. Yeah. Let me tell you, the issue there is so much more in an umpire's. It's not like your Division 2 of California cricket is different from World Cup. and mind you, there's more. Not only different from World Cup, it's a completely different from India-Pakistan game.
And in MCG with 90,000 people.
And in MCG with 1 million people, 100,000 people. Okay? There's a lot of things. Let me tell you what. Let's assume for a quick second, this was not a no ball. The second one was not a no ball. Forget about the first one for a quick second.
Yeah.
No ball. Let's say he did not give. Okay? Guess what? Every reporter would have come and hit him with a ton of bricks. Yeah. Okay, there's no question. That umpire would never probably have done a T20 again, because that's what it is. Either, but I'll tell you.
Well, that's only if the Indian board would also start supporting and calling for his head. right?
Yeah, everybody will see.
Otherwise, I think media. Because see, Dharmasena, for example, in
no matter how you look at it, that's what happens. What happens is, see, now your assumption, the Vinay's of the industry, Kashyap of the industry, thinking DKS was a no ball. Let's assume for a minute you thought it was a no ball. Okay? Now he didn't call, right? If he didn't call, you would be crazy. You're happy now because that was called a no ball. Let's face it.
Yeah.
There's emotions involved in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay? No matter what you say, he would have called it a no ball. I'll tell you, it's
not a compensatory call.
It's not a compensatory call. It turned out to be not a compensatory call.
Correct.
But it could have been a compensatory call in a situation like this. Because guess what? He would have been criticized left, right, and center, including all the commentators, all the experts, the Kumbbles of the industry, Petersons of the industry, everybody. Gavaskar would have gone crazy with it.
Yeah.
So, again, it all worked out very positively for everybody because it was a no ball.
Okay, let me ask you this then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, forgetting Kohli, DK's call, no ball or not. Let's say that ball was completely legal. What if this was not given a no ball? Kohli 6. Again, I felt personally, I feel it wasn't such a obvious
guess what?
one. I think it would have been contested, but I think they would have still moved on.
You know what? That wouldn't have changed the game. You know why? Because DK would have touchdown.
Yeah.
But that didn't really matter at all.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, 6 is a 6. Like it or not. He got that one extra ball. It didn't really matter that much. Eventually, they would have won anyway, in my opinion.
I think so. I think the game was already done.
Okay.
Yeah,
it was just a formality. The last over was just a formality.
But they would have won. I'll tell you why they would have won. Okay. Last ball, they needed 1 run, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, so without a no ball, it would have been 7 from 2.
He hit a 4. It was not counted as 4 because technically it was only 1 run.
I'll come to that. It did not.
That's the point you're going to make anyway. It was only 1 run. We stopped it at that. If it was not,
they would have
been a
4. Yeah.
They would have won no matter what. So these are the technical things nobody would understand or nobody would pay attention to. But these are the things, finer points. That's why we are talking about it. I'm glad we all brought it up. Yeah. I tell you, this is the most fascinating, not necessarily what happened on the batting and bowling side of it, and not only that, from a standpoint of a technical umpiring side of it as well.
Oh, yeah.
That was so critical. And you know what? All the decision that was made was absolutely the perfect decision. And I give it to them, both the umpires. Who were the umpires? I forget. Rudy, na?
Rudy, it was Go. No, was it Go? One was Erasmus. And Rod Tucker and Erasmus.
Okay, whatever.
Erasmus was the square leg umpire.
Think about it. Both of you think about it. Even if they paid $1 million, I don't want to umpire India-Pakistan game.
Well, one good thing about me is they will never let me umpire because I'm an Indian origin. So
you got it.
I'm saved. Maybe I'll do an Asian test someday.
No. What I mean to say is that is the toughest game to umpire.
Oh yeah.
Everything is scrutinized. So we have to be very careful. And I hats off to those 2 umpires who did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And especially the last over, you can talk about it. Everything was so precise. Everything was right. There was no mistake technically or otherwise made in that.
Yeah.
So go for it.
So no ball called, it's a 6 and a free hit. So now with the free hit, the equation became 6 from 3. And one of those 3 balls is a free hit. So I'm sure majority of them might be thinking, oh, Kohli is in the mood. The next one will be a 6 and game over.
No.
Anyway, it went a wide. Yes, I mean, he assumed. Again, the bowler thought next one will be a 6 if I give it to Kohli, right? He's like, okay, if Kohli reaches the ball, this is a 6. Let me put wide, not really a wide, but he wanted to go wide of the off stump. It really went wide. So now 5 out of 3, free hit stays. what happens next?
Oh my God, bold.
Amazing. I've read about it, I've heard it, and I know what to call, but this is the first time I saw it live. The ball hit the stumps, and again, destiny. It could have hit the stumps and stayed on the pitch.
Stayed on that. It did not.
Right? It took the edge of the off stump and went all the way to third man again because the keeper was standing back. Right? Otherwise, it would have hit keeper's boots. Right?
Bad thing. Left it
bad or boots, whatever. Who knows? So it went to the third man. They started running. And again, Kohli and DK, and I must say Ashwin too, are some of the greatest cricketing minds that, they know every single rule,
every move,
rules. They can, especially Ashwin. I know if you see an interview with Simon Toffel, one of the greatest umpires, he said, if one player who can get to umpiring after they retire, Ashwin will be the greatest umpire ever. He thinks Ashwin knows every single thing. And anyway, so Kohli and DK immediately, because it's so easy to freeze when you see the ball hit the stumps and you're like, it's a free hit, I'm not out. But forgetting everything, just start running like mad. And then DK coming back for the third run. So you got 3 runs where Rizwan is struggling and going to argue with the umpire like, hey, call this a dead ball because it hit the stumps. Because it hit the stumps. Again, back to the rule, that one of the many reasons, 9 reasons I think the ball can be called dead is when a batsman is out, not when it just hits the stumps.
Correct.
So there is a line you should make. Yes, just because it appears to be bold doesn't mean it's a dead ball. So you run, because what if it's so easy to remember that many times ball have hit the stumps and gone all the way to the boundary, right? Yeah. That's a 4. So they got 3 byes. Now the equation is 2 out of 2.
Okay, let me stop you for a quick second.
Yeah,
I've got 2 points there.
Yes.
Okay. If the ball had gone to the boundary, it would have been a lot easier. Kohli would have faced the ball.
Yeah, okay. And it was a tie. It was already a tie. There's 1 to win.
Yeah, talking about the destiny, I'm saying. Okay, it would have been a tie. Okay, now let go. Okay, the other thing was Rizwan was worried about being bored, not chasing the ball.
I don't think he would have chased it though. He could have.
No, but still, he would have gone after something. Whatever would have, he would not have been arguing about it. Okay. Yeah. I thought, see, that is the one thing. And the presence of mind between these 2 cricketers was critical. That's why you remember the last week, 3 runs are a possibility in Melbourne all the time. That's one of those things.
Yeah, you mentioned it last week.
Yeah, so that was very clear. That's what happened there. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How it all happened is so either. What are the odds of this being? And you know what? Okay.
Again, what are the odds of that right pace, right? It's not the ball after hitting the stumps. It didn't go fast enough to cut the running to 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And it did. And again,
it's not slow enough to stop it.
It's not slow enough for the keeper to stop it.
Correct.
Right. And it's not straight enough.
Yeah.
To just stay there after hitting the stumps.
Okay, talking about the destiny, I have one more last thing for you on destiny.
Yeah.
Imagine if that ball was picked up by somebody, okay, thrown to the wicket keeper. And let's assume for a minute, DK was short. Let's assume for a minute. Guess what? Rizwan had to lift the stumps, not take the bait.
I think he did that. I think he did it, but DK was already in. He did it and kept holding the stump and ran to the umpire.
That's right. Yeah. So it's all happened. What I mean is presence of mind albekala. See, there was so many variables to that one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Ball is what I'm saying.
Overally, things could have been so different.
Correct.
In many ways. You could have, India could have won with 3 balls to spare.
Yeah.
Or India could have lost by 10 runs.
Yeah.
India could have lost a couple more wickets. anything could have happened. There's so many possibilities.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Although especially that ball has so much ramifications other than 3 runs or bowled or whatever.
And it scrambled the Pakistanis' brains.
Completely.
I don't know how to tell them.
I mean, it's so hard to decipher those things. Even look, if I was in the field, I wouldn't have thought about all these things anyway.
Exactly. And so I think I have a feeling this they might have simulated all these things before too. I don't think this can just happen on the ground on that day as for the first time in your life. I think they would have talked about it. Yes, if it's a free hit, what are the possibilities? Okay, it can hit the stumps, start running. Or even if it hits your pad, start running or whatever, right? So, and again, if Kohli, more than Kohli, if DK had frozen for even one extra second, then we didn't have the third run. If he's run out, then you have now instead of 2 from 2, it's 3 from 2 with Ashwin.
3 from 2.
Right? So many possibilities.
I mean, if you see the replay, you'll see that when Kohli, he hears it hitting the wicket, he looks behind him, and he has to make a judgment call immediately. Has it passed the fielder? And once he sees it past the fielder, he looks over, and just with his eyes, they've both already decided they're running.
Yeah, DK is halfway there.
Vinay,
they didn't
DK
call.
was
They
halfway
just
there.
Yeah. I mean,
he had to run.
Exactly. So and also the time, the batting order, right? Instead, if it was already Ashwin instead of DK, then I mean, yes, Ashwin knows the law, but could he have completed 3 runs? I don't know.
Correct.
And again, if they had not sent Akshar ahead, and if it was DK at that time, so now you would have had Akshar in place of DK, and now again, does he know all those things? Like, would he have run 3? Who knows?
That's true.
Also, this is one surprising. I thought about it. Why did left-hand Ashwin not come for this spin, Ananta? Hinge.
What do you mean?
Why did Akshar did not send in front of DK? I mean, DK is the finisher. I know.
Well, Akshar came 3 down. He was the 4th guy who got run out. Right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. He's already.
Okay. So quick digression to that too. Any complaints or any questions about Akshar's run out call? So the ball, because that was, I mean, it could have been a controversy, but I mean, luckily, I felt so. Rizwan collected the ball.
Correct.
And he hit the stumps with the ball popping out of his hand. But then the ball also hit the stumps and clipped the second bail.
Yeah. You know what?
Came in.
You're explaining. I remember. Okay. Yeah.
So
that is why he was not given. He was given out. Yeah.
He was still given out. I mean, so it could have been again easily said not out because Rizwan already broke the stumps without the ball in his head.
Right.
But the ball also popped up and hit the second bail while Akshar was still outside. So, in case anybody had
I forgot about that. You're right.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you.
I know.
That was, what, that's probably a coaching manual for you guys.
Yeah.
This has to be elaborated and given to all of you. Hey, if a situation like this happens, this is what it is. So I think it's a coaching manual for all of you.
The third umpire, imagine a third umpire could have stopped when Rizwan hit the stumps, broke the stumps without the ball in hand and stopped there and said not out. Right?
He could.
So who's the third umpire? So it's, again, I think the umpiring was really top notch. And Kettleborough, there you go. Richard Kettleborough.
Oh, Kettleborough, okay.
So one of the best umpires as well. Anyway, so 2 from 2. And then what does DK do? It hits the pad, he tries to run and gets stumped out. Again, it was not a run out. Some people were asking whether it's a run out or a stumping because he wasn't really attempting a run. It's just that the momentum took him forward, but he couldn't come back, that's when I think I had
he cannot catch the ball in front of the wicket further. That is one thing
I know. That's because the ball already hit DK's pads. So it's
yes. Yeah, you're right.
Without that, it's a no ball.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, you know what? It hit the pad. And then I forgot about that.
It hit the pad, went back, and that's when he.
I thought it went to him.
I know.
Directly.
I actually saw in the replay Ian Smith. Ian Smith was the commentator, and he mentioned, "Oh, let's see where he collects the ball." I was like, no, that's not a question anymore because it hit the pads.
Correct. So, I didn't know, and I forgot about the pad hitting the pad. Otherwise, if it doesn't hit the pad, it's definitely.
Yeah. Without the bat or anything from the batsman, you have to wait. Collect the ball behind the stumps.
Behind the stumps, yeah.
Here he collected in front of the stumps, and that's
I'm sure. See, I don't expect Rizwan or anybody for that matter remember all those rules. But unless they would have spoken about it in the conversation, because test agade
yeah,
it's slow motion. In T20, the whole rules go out the door.
Yeah.
So it's very critical for the umpire to. It's very difficult, and players to remember all those things is even more difficult.
Oh yeah.
So that's why when you say destiny, that is fascinated by this. You know what? If there is a full play available, once we met
in a friend's house, and since all of us, there were like 10 men, we all started talking about it, and we all watched in our own homes. I said, you know what? Let's connect it to the TV and let's all just watch together as if we are watching live. And we did that. It was an amazing experience.
I mean,
we were clapping and high-fiving in the highlights time, man. I mean, it was amazing.
We just have to dissect that. Even stop. The reason being,
I did that with my daughter. I was pausing, and my daughter, 7-year-old daughter, she was so interested. She was fascinated with all these things. I was pausing and saying, okay, see what happened. What is your observation? And then we talked about it. And,
it is such a fascinating game. See, the last half of the game, 10th over to the 20th over is good enough for me.
Oh yeah.
Actually, last 3 hours. Yeah. I got disconnected, so I missed everything. So did you guys finish the over? Because I had one more question on the DK.
We are still on the run-out thing.
Okay, good.
No, actually, we moved to one ball where DK got stumped out, and there was So because the ball hit DK's pads, it was okay for Rizwan to collect the ball ahead of in front of the stumps and because I know Ian Smith mentioned, oh, did he collect it in front of the stumps?
Yeah, Vinay, the rule says if it's not hit the pad, he cannot collect in front of the wicket to stump him.
Yeah. It has to be behind but because it hit the pad, I agree. Yeah.
So now Ashwin comes in, and as Ashwin mentioned himself, that he was cursing DK, like, why did you have to put me through this? Why didn't you finish it? Right. So 2 from 1 now. And the next wide is full credit to Ashwin.
Yeah.
I think, he deliberately shuffled too much, moved to the leg, and then just at the point of the delivery, just swiftly came back into the stumps, and ball went to the wide. Scores are level. India cannot lose. Now we are 1 from 1.
But you know what? I tell you again, this is where Babar Azam needs to really reevaluate what he did. 3 things I'm going to give you that. 1, bowling that spinner in the last over.
Yes.
Okay. And keeping the wicket keeper in the back, even though if the spinner wanted it. No, you're the captain. He's going to come here. Second, 3rd one, for a spinner, why would you not have a long off? 1 run, I get it.
Yeah.
But what?
And it's an away spinner anyway.
Yeah, it's away spinner. It's so easy for him to hit it above. He didn't have to really hit hard at all. Yeah. All he has to do is just over the head. It's like a first 6 overs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Why would you do
again, that? Because it's Melbourne, you didn't have to stand all the way at the edge of the rope. You could have been at like 45, 50 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of being a circle, right behind the circle. Right. See, if he mishits, you get a catch. If he hits over, tough luck.
Yeah.
If he drives, it's 1 run no matter what.
Exactly.
But you kind of let it go. He saw, and knowing Ashwin, he watches the field. He saw it. He played beautifully. That was another thing which is, oh my God, what is he doing in mid-off? He should be at long off.
And for the the original debate about the spinner selection, imagine if there was no Ashwin, we would be having Bhuvaneshwar or Chahal at that spot now.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention about this shot is I remember we did a cricket Vana call long back, like maybe 6 months ago. Ashwin was in the IPL and he played this brilliant innings, which was like, I told everybody, I was like, that is his coming as a white ball batsman.
Yeah.
But in this case, what I want to point out is, even if I were going out to bat, anyone were going out to bat, the whole thing is we need one run. All I need to do is make contact with the ball, right? All I need to do is make contact with the ball. It's so easy to fall into the mindset of I'm just going to swing. Yeah. I'm just going to swing. This guy didn't swing. He's an opening batsman for Tamil Nadu, and he waits and plays the merit of the delivery with a straight bat, a very technically sound shot. It's not about making contact with the ball. It's I want to place the ball as well. And that's
he says that too. Like Virat comes to him and says, okay, play it over the cover. Look, there is a gap there. And he said, Anna, leave me alone. I don't think I can play all those shots. You can play those shots. I just need to find a gap.
Exactly. See, any bowler that's coming in is going to think, I just need to make contact. I don't care where it goes, what it goes. I'm going to see the ball, hit the ball. That's it. Yeah, this guy played a proper cricketing shot, premeditated, straight bat, lofted over. It's just like, only Ashwin can pull that off, honestly.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, if not for Ashwin was chosen over Chahal for bowling, but I mean it was
perfect for batting too.
It was such a perfect timing for him to be there. Yes, I mean I would rather have Hardik or DK ahead of Ashwin, but I mean again, at least it was Ashwin and not Chahal or Bhuvi. Who knows?
At least Bhuvi bats a little bit better than.
Could have, but I mean, again, but then Bhuvi would have fallen into that trap of just trying to swing it and could have just top edge for an easy catch, and it would have been a super over or whatever. I don't know. Is it a super over? Or will they share
super over? Super over.
No, league game may not be, right? Do they share the point?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh. I thought super over ankonde.
Super over, I mean, definitely for the knockout. I don't know here. I might be wrong. Yeah. There might be super, but who knows, right? But again, super over. I don't know if if you had Harris Roth and Arshdeep or whoever. We don't have Bumrah. Anyway, so last ball, he looks at the field. Everybody comes in, and again, I agree with Somo. Like you still needed long off. If your plan is to bowl full, it's okay to bowl full and then have a long off, if not long on too, right? And it's an away spinner for a right.
Let me make another point. Long off yak beku antandre,
you can always
if he's not going to hit the ball on the ground, no matter what, it's a one run. Okay, one run in save madakagala. Even where he was standing, he was not going to stop that one run.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But and on that point, I must say kudos and great credit to Indians, and I mean not just India but many players too, but India batsmen, including Kohli, with that kind of a pressure and that many runs required, you never see any Indian batter, maybe Hardik Pandya sometimes, but none of the others, especially Kohli, never leaving the crease from non-striker. There's absolutely no chance you can run out. I'm not going to say Mankad anymore. You will not run out an Indian non-striker because Indians follow that.
I'll tell you.
It's easy. I mean, it's one ball, one run, Ashwin on strike. I would be tempted to run along with the ball.
Correct. But I'll tell you, Kohli can probably run 3 for every 2 runs others take.
That's true. Okay. But I don't think that's the reason.
No. What I mean to say is that the confidence that he has, I can run. I don't have to have.
I don't have to cheat.
Not only that, cheat. I don't have to have an advantage of that.
I know you don't like to call it cheat, but yeah.
I will run. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
And also, Nino, you very rarely you gain an advantage by leaving the crease corner. Very, very rarely. Okay.
But I mean, for example, the third run from DK. Right? Yeah. If he was actually, taking like Butler style advantage, I think he need not have dived to save himself for the
correct. Right? That's where the fitness comes in The running between the wicket comes in. They pay attention to those things.
No,
That's
but then
what
are you
they
saying
do.
Butler is not fit enough to run 3 like that?
Because
Why
again,
should, I see again, for me, that advantage you take as a non-striker is about just growing up or principle more than the fitness or the strategy. I don't think it's even a strategy. It's not like, I want to be
I have to defend everybody on this.
Okay.
It happens in the midst of a game you don't really think about.
Agreed.
I honestly
that's what
say
I'm
that.
saying. I know. That's what I'm saying. It's not.
I don't think nobody wants to cheat. I mean, maybe there's one or two. I don't know, but nobody. Yeah. But it happens. No, see, when you're sitting, when the exuberance of cricket, what's happening on the field, you forget everything. But that's where Navella ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ಹಿಂಗೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹಿಂಗೆ almost out of the crease, probably 2-3 feet, but hold the bat there.
Yeah. Oh, I had a friend who would stand almost close to the umpire, that back, and would run parallelly with the bowler.
Yeah. So I don't
know if I will allow that as an umpire because it's now distracting the bowler, but he would run along with the bowler and start running.
On the same note, did you listen to what Stark gave a thought process on the running between that?
I'm not deeply.
Yeah.
He said to Butler that I'm not deeply. I would.
No. He said he gave a reason why. What should be done, Antam?
To give extra run, Anta.
Yeah. Extra run. Bitre ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. Yeah. There's a article was it. ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ.
All right. So we come to the last ball. Ashwin nonchalantly just places it above mid-off, and Melbourne being Melbourne, it was easy pickings. Even if India needed 2 or I don't know, maybe 3. I don't know if Ashwin could have covered third, but I think 2 was easy. So I have one more note on that. Unfortunately, there's absolutely no footage of the ball stopping. I don't know if the ball reached the ropes or not, because
I was told
as soon as it reached,
I was told it reached, but at that point it was a moot point because one run it was over.
No. So because I checked with my mentor umpire as well, and we saw that too. If the ball reached the ropes during the winning run, the 4 always stays. I don't know why it was not given then, because again, in cricket you go with what happened first, right? Yes, you ran a single before the ball reached the rope, but then the shot that made the ball reach the rope happened before your single running. So you should still be given 4. That's why, because it has happened in many games. Winning run, you just need 1 or 2 to win, and you hit a 4. But yeah, I mean, most of the time you don't really run. It's not the last ball. But even if you complete a single, you should be awarded 4 if the ball reached the boundary. I have a feeling because the fan, I mean, if maybe not the fans, but the Indian dugout and everybody started running into the ground. Maybe they said as a friendly penalty that, hey, you didn't let the ball go, I'm not going to give you a 4. I don't know.
Okay. ನೀನು ಇವನ್ ಕಳ್ಸಿ ನೋಡಿದ ಜಗದೀಶ್ ಕಳ್ಸಿ ನೋಡಿದ ಒಂದು ಒಬ್ಬ ಅದು ನೀನ್ ಕಳ್ಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅದನ್ನ.
Yeah, I know. I saw that video, but I don't really completely agree with that, because if it reached the ropes, it has to be given 4, and it's not
what I was told is, if it's immaterial, if it has happened, if you're won with 1 run, nothing matters anymore.
Yeah, but that's not the first time. Like, there are so many instances of hitting a 4 when you needed 1 to win.
That's a clarification. ICC bari.
Yeah. So again, I don't know why there is not a single footage, not even in the replays. I mean, I was about to say not even in the highlights.
One ಆಯ್ತು, everybody was taking pictures of everybody.
And anyway, I think 3 extra runs will not matter in the run rate calculations anyway.
No.
And who cares? Pakistan lost 2 games, so I don't think Pakistan will even qualify now. So, but I know.
Yeah, true.
But that's another matter. Look, so we can.
We have just 1 over now. We have spoken for about an hour and a half. That's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
We really, you know what?
I think it deserves that. I mean,
it deserves that. Not only that, I think we really almost went to the nicks and crevices of everything that way. We can look. not everybody may agree in what we have said so far.
Yeah.
But I think it's a rational discussion all we made. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're not claiming that this is the way to talk about them, or this is the only way to talk about them. But I mean, this is our perspective, and the way we experienced and enjoyed. And again, even as a neutral fan, even if you are not an Indian fan or a Pakistani fan, I think you will still appreciate the enormity and the
quality of the cricket so high.
Yeah.
That's what
and the emotions, man. I mean, like India and Pakistan, even if it was same scores and same kind of batting, if let's say if Stokes played like Kohli, and tonight Australia and England, you will not see that kind of emotion from an Aussie and an English fan.
No.
Right? I mean,
India Pakistan is a completely different story.
So
even if they won against Australia or England like this, there won't be this much of a conversation anyway. Pakistan is Pakistan. Well, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And, but I must also give credit to Pakistani fans. I think they handled it really well at the end after losing. Some of the footages we saw, I mean, even on the ground or any other WhatsApp and TikTok videos that we saw, I think, I mean, I might be wrong, but I mean, I thought they handled it better than what Indians handled last year after the loss.
True.
Right?
True.
But, so better luck next time. And if there's nothing else on this game, then we could say, as of now, all the teams have played 2 games each, and India is the only team who has won both the games.
Both the games, yeah.
And
you know what?
I have a couple things before we leave the match, but keep going. I had a couple parting thoughts. Go ahead. So I think one thing I would say is, just to add on to the point about Pakistani fans, I also have to give credit to the Pakistani players, because it's very easy to come out of that match frazzled, confused, heated. But in their interviews and Babar and everything, they focused on giving credit to India for winning, giving credit for Kohli and his insane, masterful innings. Never did they mention any sort of mistakes that they made. They took credit. They didn't mention umpiring. They took full onus of they lost the match and stuff. So I want to give them credit. Yes. Another parting thought I have is, I mean, this is a joke and it's banter. I don't mean anything by it, but I cannot think of any team other than Pakistan dropping the ball like that in the final over. It's their bad luck, or it's their one. I don't know what it is, but it was just so laughable to me that it's like no other team would have done this. Only Pakistan can pull off such a spoil,
And they did an encore tonight, last night against Zimbabwe.
Yeah. And they lost to Zimbabwe. So I think it's just, I feel bad for the fans. I wish they'd have some success, but gosh, you cannot script these things. Maybe it's just some luck that's, that they have that they're not getting.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would say about this match is, I want to, before we leave the match, I want to give a lot of credit to Arshdeep for his bowling, because that spell in the beginning, and Bhuvi for that spell. I think their opening spell is going to get completely lost in the noise of the Kohli thing, but I want to make sure to give them a tip of a hat to say, my goodness, what quality bowling. And you know what?
That was an amazing.
Not even the first 2 overs, 3 overs, the whole power play, even like the 7th and 8th over, every ball was a gripping ball of our bowling.
It was like watching the first session of an English test.
Yes,
you're right. You know what?
It lasted a half hour, like 1 hour. You had the cloud coverage. You had the movement. It literally felt like a test.
It's like watching the first test at Lord's.
Yes.
So let me ask you this.
Every ball, even in the 7th over, in the 8th over, you're still seeing hints of movement, and they're all over the Pakistani batsmen. It's like, give credit to Pakistan for still coming out of that and still somehow scoring 160. I think that's phenomenal.
160 was a great recovery from what happened in power play.
Yeah.
Again, did anyone think or dread that what would have happened if India was batting first?
I did. Not because of the do or this or that, but I was very happy that we were chasing, because like we had talked about in the last call, I think our batting is better than our bowling, even though in this match, both are pretty equal. I'm so glad we chased. But my goodness, I thought we were going to chase 120 to 140. I did not think we were going to chase 160, and we still chased it down.
Yeah, so. And Soma, remember we talked about it last week about this game, and in general in Australian grounds, it's easier to hide your bowling shortcomings,
correct,
than your batting shortcomings. So teams with stronger batting will thrive more.
Will thrive. Yeah, we talked about it.
Because Pakistan is on the other side of the spectrum. They have excellent bowling, but without deep and strong batting, you will not go far.
And mind you, Babar is not doing anything.
No, that handshake. Remember Kohli and Babar had a handshake in Dubai?
Yeah.
There was something.
They transferred some energy.
I tell you, that was the one. I mean, that's one thing. And also, what I think is, 8 games, I thought, okay, whatever the number of games has played, okay, 8, 10 games.
Yeah.
2 games on the 40th over. Won or lost on the 40th over. Today and that game.
I know. So that's why I saw another tweet today. They said, yes, you can have as many World Cups as you want, but can we have Pakistan play every game?
Because they give a good match. I also don't want to forget about, I want to give a shout out to Arshdeep Bhuvi for their opening spell. I think Hardik's performance in that match is going to be a little lost, because it's not just the gritty middle overs that he stayed and he played 40 balls and he scored 40 runs or whatever. It's not even that. It's also he took 3 wickets. So from a pure statistical standpoint, if Kohli didn't have this insane masterclass of an innings, let's say he scored a half century, got out, and something like DK took us to the finish line or something like that. I think Hardik is your man of the match. I think Hardik is your man of the match if Kohli did not have this kind of innings that he did. If he got out after half century and then someone else took us, Hardik he's going to get a little bit lost in the noise as well. So I want to give him a shout out. 3 wickets and his gritty 40 runs. And I think that also dovetails into the point I made. If you guys remember last time, you're going to see a lot of 2s, a lot of 3s running, and it's very important in the middle overs to run. That's what kept us alive. From over 8 or 9 all the way to the 14th, 15th over, it's their running between the wickets that kept us in the match. For a layman that's watching, they're probably thinking, oh my God, every ball, every over, the match is getting so further away. But for the people that appreciate cricket or watching, they're appreciating the discipline it takes to know that they're going to hang their hat on their confidence in the death overs. They're staying in, not losing wickets, and each run this way or that way, as much as a Pakistani fan or a player can be so happy and thankful that there isn't a boundary, that's actually what lost them the match and what won India the match. So that running between the wickets, I think it was beautifully displayed in this match. And then the last thing I'll say is, I told you guys on the last call we had, I wanted to see like a vintage masterclass, like Kohli innings of him just single-handedly winning a game. And that's exactly what we got. He somehow heard me and he got it the last match.
I messaged you soon after the innings. I said, you got what you wished for.
I got exactly what I wished for. I'm so glad it was at this magnitude of this kind of match against Pakistan in the World Cup. If this was just some bilateral series against West Indies and this was his comeback, it was like, okay, go. Masterclass, great, vintage Kohli. But I think the impact wouldn't have been there. But to do it on this stage, I'm not that big of a Kohli fan, admittedly, but it's very heartwarming to see this happen for him, because of all people, I think deserves it.
And I think even if it was against Pakistan, like you said, in a non-World Cup game in Dubai or Colombo or somewhere, it would have been lost. I mean, the stage
was completely different.
It's now in the T20 legacy forever.
Yeah, this is the stage was completely different here.
Exactly.
Okay, and Pakistan made it even better. Oh my God, that is ice cream on top of the cream of the.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it was good.
To lose your only 2 informed players, Babar and Rizwan, so early, and then still recovering to 160, and then reducing India to 30 for 4. Huh?
Not only that, they're not getting runs, one though. Even if they got runs, they will eat away 5, 6, 7, 8 overs.
Yeah, exactly.
They're losing because of that.
In a way, it was a blessing for them that those 2 got out without wasting too many balls. But then, Shan Masood, some credit to Shan Masood, man. And Iftikhar, the way he exhilarated in those 2 spinner overs was fantastic. That brought them there. And again, great death bowling again by Arshdeep, I must say. The 20th over,
Hey, that kid is so good. He improved he went from 0 to 90 in less than 5 seconds. Or no.
I know.
I mean, he played 2 great IPLs.
He pipped Siraj and Avesh within a span of few games. He was below the pecking order when it came to the Indian pacemen. After Bumrah, Shami, and Bhuvi, there was Umesh, Siraj, Avesh,
No.
Prasidh Krishna, and everybody.
I mean, the Minnoba, or no,
Umran Malik.
Umran Malik. And don't forget, there was also 2-3 years ago in 2020, we were even talking about T. Natarajan at that time.
Nattu is, he's heavy. Nattu and Prasidh Krishna are injured. So,
What's most heartening for me is that kid, literally from nowhere, he beat everybody and he's performing. Everybody is talking about him. Before, nobody was talking about him. And he bowls beautifully. Death over Santo is a master.
Yeah.
He's done so well. I'm happy for him. And in a nonchalant kid, he plays well, and I love it.
Yeah. So one thing I wished for last week in this World Cup is not really happening, and I'm sad about it. Is too many games are being lost for rain.
Yeah, I know.
So it's unfortunate, and I hope it doesn't alter the course of some of the teams' fortunes or the. Whatever, but
if anything can alter is South Africa's 1 point is the one which can make a difference. Otherwise, nothing else.
Actually, the team that can benefit from that could be Zimbabwe. Because
I don't mind Zimbabwe. You know what?
Yeah, exactly. Because 3 big teams are India, Pakistan, and South Africa, and now they are unbeaten so far, with sharing a point with South Africa and then beating Pakistan. So all they have is India, and even if they lose to India, they would just hope that South Africa loses to India and Pakistan, then Zimbabwe will be in semifinals. So
you know what?
I think Pakistan is pretty much ruled out at this point, unless there are some other, like Zimbabwe beats India, and South Africa lose to Pakistan, and some lot of variety.
And also net run
Yeah.
Don't go. So
let's see. We can talk more about the other teams on the table next
week.
Any other big prediction for the next week?
Predictions, but I think the match coming up in a couple of hours will be, Australia and England. I think that's going to be a good match, and they're both 1-1 right now, right? So I think that's going to swing the table a bit. But
how about Ireland beating England? That was awesome.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
It's a very easy game for them.
Yeah.
They didn't even work hard on that.
It's the Duckworth-Lewis thing. They kept, they always stayed behind the line, behind the asking.
When you're scoring 100 against Ireland, you don't deserve to win, period.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's
happen, but something did happen.
Afghanistan and Ireland game is delayed by rain already. It's been delayed by 1 hour.
Oh, that?
Yeah, it was supposed to start 1 hour ago. So.
Oh, delayed, is it? Oh my God, that's a bummer.
All right, so Sunday we have India, South Africa, and
Afghanistan had delayed due to rain. Okay, next day with England, Australia, 1 a.m. Oh my God.
All right, so that concludes this session, and you can leave some comments or send us any other questions or concerns. There are lots more to talk about. If we can talk for days on this game.
I mean, it's 2 hours already. I mean, we covered it with oh my God. I'm only hope. I mean, I'm new guy. Do you want to cut this thing off?
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Cut it off. I just want to say a couple of things.
All right. Bye, guys.